In last week's report, we featured the start of the British Classic Yacht Club's annual regatta in Cowes, which played host to over 50 beautiful classic yachts. The event was plagued with appalling weather, with wind at times in excess of 30 knots and at others non-existent, with heavy rain squalls, thunder and lightning, and little evidence of sunshine. But this didn't dampen the spirits of the classic owners and crews, who know how to enjoy themselves and had a packed social and racing schedule to keep them busy. This year the event supported Sail for Cancer, with the pro celebrity race on Monday. Top comedian Griff Rhys-Jones took on sailing celebrities and Olympic stars Phil Sharp and Laura Baldwin, and actor Jeff Hughes and marine artist Michael Frith, each one at the helm of a classic yacht. Sail for Cancer was set up in 2001 by a group of keen sailors who have lost a close relative or friend from cancer. Over the past 2 years, the charity has donated over £50,000 in treatment and research grants. The weather conditions gave the celebrities a bumpy ride, with a westerly that was gusting well over 30 knots at times. The race officers from the Royal London Yacht Club set a short course from the club's shoreline to a mark on Ryde Middlebank, then across to Norris before heading back to the finish. The course kept the yachts out of the worst of the conditions, but even so, they had a bumpy ride. Olympic dinghy sailor Laura Baldwin was sailing the classic 5-metre Censor, which was a bit of a change from the laser radial which she usually campaigns. Phil Sharp, who won Class 40 in the last Route de Rhum race, was given the helm of Strega, a modern classic Spirit 37, smaller sister of the 54-footer, which appeared in the latest James Bond film. Jeff Hughes, best known for his roles as Twiggy in the Royal Family and Onslow in Keeping Up Appearances, steered Josephine, a 45-foot Philip Rhodes design. Michael Frith swapped his paint and canvas for the helm of Quiver 5, a beautiful Camper & Nicholson offshore racer from 1960. Griff Rhys-Jones was sailing his own boat, Undina, which is the sister ship to Josephine, and which he's had restored to perfect condition over the last few years. At the first mark, it was Phil Sharp sailing Strega ahead of Griff Rhys-Jones in Undina. As she came on the wind, Undina showed that she's a bit more tender than the deeper keeled boats, and the crew struggled to keep her moving fast as they thrashed to windward. The rest of the fleet were all suffering from poor starts. Laura Baldwin, sailing Censor, rounded the first mark in third, ahead of Quiver 5 and Josephine. After the short beat to Norris, Strega had increased her lead over Undina, which was struggling with the conditions on the beat. Quiver 5 had moved into third at Norris, and she came storming through Undina on the final reach to the finish, as Undina's crew struggled to put a reef in the main. At the finish line, it was Strega, helmed by Phil Sharp, which took line honours, followed by Quiver 5, which made a magnificent sight as she ploughed through the waves on her way to the line. Undina came in third, ahead of Josephine, with Censor bringing up the rear. The handicap win also went to Strega, with Undina taking second and Laura Baldwin and Censor claiming third. From one extreme to another, the classics had just about every sort of weather, and on Thursday the problem was lack of wind. Even the beautiful Kelpie couldn't find a puff. Small boats drifted as fast as big boats. This is Dorothy, a 33-foot Thames-rated gaff sloop of about 1894 vintage. And this is the superb 1929 30-square-metre Glukauf. She's 38 foot long, but has less than 6.5 feet beam. Andrew Thornhill's Huff of Arklow is one of the most distinctive classics. Designed by Arthur Fox in 1951, she introduced the concept of fin and skeg configuration. She was the first masthead rig sloop, and she was the first offshore yacht designed to plane. In 1960, she recorded a speed of 23 knots during a trip to Iceland. The modern Spirit yachts seek to recapture the beauty of the classics, but with modern design. This is the 56-footer Spirit of Strangford, which featured in the latest James Bond film, Casino Royale. Undoubtedly beautiful and wonderfully crafted, to our eye they don't quite have the personality of a true classics. Undina is Griff Rhys-Jones's 45-foot centreboarder, designed by the American designer Philip Rhodes and built by Aberking and Rasmussen in 1953. Griff has sailed Undina to the Baltic, visiting St. Petersburg and Helsinki, in a voyage made famous by his book To the Baltic with Bob. The gorgeous 50-foot Ilderim was built in 1936 as Sweden's entry for the Olympic Games, and now she races in regattas across Europe. With 2 firsts, 2 seconds and a 4th, Ilderim was the clear winner of the racing division. Let's hope that next year the classics enjoy better weather and we can see them perform in all their splendour. The third round of the Red Funnel Cows Keelboat Championship was run by the Royal Thames Yacht Club this weekend. 2 races a day were sailed on Saturday and Sunday on windward leeward courses set to the north of the Brambles Bank. Saturday's first race got underway with the morning's sunshine being replaced by a leaden sky with a 10 to 15 knot south-southwesterly. Only 2 Etchells came to the line for their first race, with Ragtime leading Palaver to the finish after 2 rounds of the windward leeward course. For the second race, a change of course had been signalled, with 3 beats and 2 runs, finishing at the end of the 3rd beat at the windward mark. This time, it was Palaver that led the way, with Ragtime finishing second. The Darings had a fleet of 14 boats out on Saturday. Their first race was dominated by rain squalls sweeping down the course and large wind shifts catching out the unwary. The course gave 2 beats and 3 runs, with the finish at the end of the 3rd run. When the Darings rounded their leeward mark at the end of the first round, a large left-hand shift saw the fleet laying the windward mark for the first part of the beat. Number 7 Decoy led the fleet home convincingly, followed by number 27 Double Knot, with number 21 Division Bell in 3rd. The rain relented after the first race and the sky cleared, but as the sunshine appeared, so the wind dropped and became fluky. After a postponement to allow the breeze to settle, a nice 7 to 8 knot southwesterly blew up the Solent, and this was to build quickly to around 20 knots, giving all the fleets a more challenging second race. The daring start was hotly contested, with many favouring the pin end, but number 10, Defiant, was judged over and was scored OCS, as they didn't return to restart. Decoy popped out of the start in a good position and showed blistering speed upwind to lead the fleet. Decoy went on to take a comfortable win, adding to her previous 5 wins to keep a perfect score in this series so far. Second was number 29 Defender, improving on her 6th in the first race. Third was Division Bell, repeating her result from race 1. On Sunday, in sparkling sunshine and with a 10 to 15 knot southwesterly, it was again Decoy leading the fleet home in the first race, ahead of Defender with Double Knot in 3rd. The start of the second race saw Decoy get an uncharacteristically poor start. At the windward mark, it was number 10 Defiant which led a closely bunched fleet. Defiant set off down the run, with Decoy moving up to 3rd place and looking to make it 4 wins in a row for the weekend. But it was not to be, as Defiant went on to win ahead of Double Knot, with Daring 1 taking 3rd and Decoy slipping back to 6th. But with 3 wins out of 4, it was definitely Decoy's weekend. The Dragons had a small fleet of 5 boats out on Saturday. Their first race was won by Gavia Wilkinson Cox in Jerboa, ahead of Caramba, with Njord taking 3rd. In the Dragon's second race, it was the turn of Njord to take the winner's gun, ahead of Caramba taking another second, with Jerboa in 3rd. On Sunday, 6 boats came to the line. The first race was won by Jerboa, with Virago 2nd and Caramba 3rd. The second race saw a change in the pecking order. This race was won by Owen and Josie Pay's Njord, ahead of Caramba, with Virago 3rd. The next round of the series will be held in early September.